What's going on, Ball and Glove loving Brewer fans? Welcome to Brew Crew Tuesday. My name is Tyler, your host for the segment. I can be found on Twitter at Tyler Kurth. You can find all my articles at Reviewing the Brew on Twitter. I am the host of the Brewers Trilogy podcast, which is hosted by the Wisconsin Sports Trilogy. You can find us on Twitter at trilogy_pod. Here to talk Brewers like I do every Tuesday. Day one of winter meetings is officially come and gone. It was rather uneventful, but we do have one Brewers rumor to talk about, and that is Joc Pederson. So he was one of the select teams that was leaked that they were interested in him. So interested, just don't get your hopes up quite yet. That means a lot, but as an outfielder, that is interesting that the Brewers are at least looking at him. Does that mean that there are future plans to ship out Avi Garcia or Lorenzo Cain? Maybe. I mean, Lorenzo Cain is the highest paid Milwaukee Brewer for the 2021 season. Avi Garcia's set to make 10 mil, I think, or a little bit. Yeah, 10 mil this year. It's 12 mil next year if they opt in to take that deal or not. So a very expensive outfield. Of course, adding Joc Pederson would be expensive as well. He's coming from the Dodgers and they're obviously a lot bigger market than what we are. So the asking price for Pederson is going to be up there, it's probably even in a year where contracts are going to be down. I mean, taking a look at it, Joc Pederson made 7 mil last year in 2020. And there's a lot of theories out there that Joc Pederson could go anywhere and be a starting outfielder every day for a ball club. But let's take a step back. Like, is this necessarily true? I mean, I did some digging into it because whenever I look at Joc Pederson's stat totals, I'm like, man, he didn't compile a lot of at bats. And that's because he never hit versus lefties. Never. You take a look since 2016, which is his rookie season, he's logged over 500 bats in a season just once, and that was in 2019. That year, in 2019, he only had 49 at-bats versus left-handed pitchers. 2018 was more of the same, just 53 at-bats versus left-handed pitchers. So yeah, while it's impressive, he hit 36 home runs in 2019. All of those were off righties. He hit 25 in 2018. Again, good power numbers, but he doesn't hit for a high average. You're going to get like a 230 to 250, most likely, somewhere in there for him. And you're only going to get him against righties. So is it really worth it? Is he going to be an everyday starter? I don't know. I mean, sure, if you're looking at his baseball reference stats, it says he plays a lot of games. In 2019, when I told you he only had 49 at-bats versus left-handed pitchers, he played in 149 games. But you make one pinch hit appearance, that's a game played. So that's really, really misleading. And I think something a lot of people are overlooking with Joc Pederson. Like, track record against lefties, not good, especially in the power category. So that kind of makes me steer away from him. Especially when you consider the fact we already have a crowded outfield. And I really do think Billy McKinney is going to step up good and be that backup outfielder for the Brewers this year. There's a lot of people out there saying, just move him to first base, because that's that freaking easy. I mean, he's played some first base for the Dodgers before, sure. But it obviously didn't go well enough to keep him there. So that's telling you something. I mean, that's just like a theme so far with Brewers fans this offseason, because I think the first base crop is just so thin to begin with. And we tendered Dan Vogelbach, and now since we did that, it's looking more and more like the universal DH isn't going to be back. So people are like, put Schwarber at first, put Joc Pederson at first. Yeah, great idea. Those guys hit for powers out. That's going to improve our offense tremendously. Yeah, it is, but it's just outlandish to do that with any one of those guys. Even Dan Vogelbach, he should not be a first baseman. One of my contributors at Reviewing the Brew tweeted back at me today saying that he only played 90 games at first base since 2016. That just shows you what managers think of his defense abilities. So whether or not he is still even on the roster come opening day is to be determined. But I mean, as for Joc Pederson, I feel like him accepting a deal with the Brewers to play the outfield, because I think that's where they would want him to be. Like, why would he do it? Unless the Brewers make a move and get rid of their other outfielders, like I was talking about, he's gonna go and be like, yeah, I'll get the majority of the starts against righties, but I mean, if I'm in a slump, then I'm probably gonna sit. I mean, sure, like Christian Yelich has always had those back issues. Lorenzo Cain's getting older at age 35, and Avi Garcia was banged up a lot of this year. So, like, theoretically, Joc Pederson almost wouldn't miss a beat compared to what he's playing with the Dodgers, given, depending on the pitching matchups. He would play a lot of games, but with, four good outfielders, I don't know. I wouldn't make that signing if I was Joc Pederson. So that's just something to think about there with him. And then if you run into a stretch where you have two lefty starters in a row, he's out for those 2 games, until he comes in and pinch hits. So there is my thinking on Joc Pederson, the first Brewers rumor of winter meetings here. They will keep going on here for the next couple of days. Talks have been really slow right now. It's been pretty dormant, is words that I've heard with these virtual meetings going on. But man, stay tuned to Wisconsin Sports Trilogy. We will be talking all about it. We will have a podcast recapping it all, hoping and assuming the Brewers at least make some sort of move. So I just put an article on reviewing the Brew. That was my winter meetings shopping list. So make sure you check that out. I'll put it in the comments below so you can read all about it. But until next time, see you later, Brewer fans.